Alright, cast iron fans, so you kind of saw our little intro video, but I wanted to give a few more minutes to just my personal collection. Mr. Scotty is not here right now, but I'm going to talk about some of these pieces and where I acquired them and what I cook on them, what my favorite pieces are. You know, so you get a look at my kitchen. It's mostly clean. This is the bad boy that started it all. This is an 11 and a quarter inch skillet griddle. And look at this. Look at this. This was my mother's. And when she passed away, I took it. This was the first piece of cast iron, not the only one. We had more, but this was the one that meant the most to me when my mother passed. And I'd say conservatively that griddle there has probably made or reheated somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 tortillas, probably more, really. If I sat down and did the math, it would be something like that. It would be that obscene. Of course, I had my own long before she passed away, so that's mine. And that's a Lodge. I like it. I've had it for, about 14 years now, I guess. 13 or 14 years. Bought it unseasoned, seasoned it myself. It's a beautiful pan. It's got a beautiful coating of seasoning on it. I love that pan. This is my egg pan over here. This is the one I usually fry my eggs in. And you'll notice, if I can get the camera to focus, you'll notice that this is an old Wagner. I got this at an estate sale somewhere. Probably paid maybe $2-3 for this. Get a lot of it at estate sales. And turned out it's an excellent egg pan. Super well seasoned. It's actually, some of the seasoning is kind of like cracking. So, you know, this pan's been in use for many a long year. This one over here is an interesting Wagner. I don't cook on this one all that much, although it does cook well. Nice thing about this is it's got the seasoning instructions, and we'll be showing some seasoning techniques in some upcoming videos. So I rarely cook on this one though. But nice thing, it's got this kind of little decorative piece of the handle here. Kind of, you don't see that. It's a real sturdy casting. I like it. It's about as thick as a modern Lodge, so it's a more modern pan, as opposed to this one. It's got a much lighter, thinner casting. Still cooks just as well. This guy over here has always been my problem child. I've rusted this giant thing many a time. I use this to cook my green chili. Bought this unseasoned. Stopped cooking green chili in it. With the bottom is warped. I'll be talking about how you warp your bottoms in a future video too. But it's got a nice Dutch oven lid, the self-basting lid. It's got those little metal nipples right there that drip the water evenly over your food as you cook it. The lid's still in good shape. Pan is warped, but I still use it. It's kind of like my old reliable. Then over here is a collection of miscellaneous pans that I use. Some I use, I don't use. This is the match to these Wagners over here. And this one's also got seasoning instructions. These small pans are good for sauteing onions, mushrooms, reheating a little bit of sauce, but in reality I don't use my small pans all that much. I've got, let's see, this is that little crescent pan. This one's also kind of small. You see it's got a thinner casting. It's an older casting. Crescent Foundry Company, Ozark, St. Louis, Missouri. I've cooked in it before. It's a decent little cooker, but once again it's a small pan. This is about the smallest pan I use right here. This is an 8-inch Lodge skillet. I've actually got 2 of these. I use these kind of sometimes as use them as egg pans. They make good scrambled eggs in a pinch. Alright, so over here we got 2 Lodge pans. These ones are nice. Bottom one, of course, that's my bacon pan. You gotta have a bacon pan, folks. And that's pretty much the only thing that's ever been cooked in there. I've cooked potatoes in it a few times. Needs to be oiled as I'm looking at it right now. Nice thing about these pans is they've got the little the handle. So it makes it nice for using these when you have to pick them up with stuff in them. And you can, and of course with that handle it makes them a lot easier now to use in the oven as well. I'll be doing some of that cooking. But they're really nice pans. If I had to do over again, I'd love to be able to buy pre-seasoned, but they didn't sell that back then. They didn't. Lodge just had Lodge, you know. Speaking of pre-seasoned, let's bring the Dutch oven over here, because that's what we're going to be cooking in next. We're going to be making some beef stew in that bad boy, and I can't wait because it turns out excellent. This lid I bought myself for Christmas, and it was pre-seasoned. I got the Dutch oven portion out of a storage unit, and I've restored it. But that's a Lodge 10-inch Dutch oven. You got the matching lid to go with it. The lid seals really nicely on this bad boy. I've cooked in it several times already, and it cooks beautifully both on the stovetop and in the oven. So I can't wait to take this camp cooking, and we're going to see how it performs out there. Out here we got the grill pan, which I tried to cook in once. I had not cooked in it, but I cooked some fish in it. It actually worked for what I wanted it to do, but unfortunately I couldn't poach fish in it because the grill is just not deep enough, so it was almost like boiling the fish. So that was kind of a bad idea. But I've never used one before, so I think I'm just going to use it the way it's intended. I'm going to cook some hamburgers on it and see how that turns out. I'm going to cook probably some steak and some... I'll probably cook fish on it again. That's a Lodge pan too, so notice I got quite a collection of Lodge pans. Bacon press. You have to have a bacon press. It should prominently feature a pig. Okay, you should have a bacon press at all times. And it's not just for bacon, it's for pressing all your meats. So you can put T-bones under this bad boy for breakfast. You know, do a lot of good stuff. Cast iron muffin pan. This thing weighs a ton, and the only reason that I have this, I bought this as a novelty, and it was $1 at an estate sale. Nobody wanted it. I mean, who wants a? I mean, how many people make muffins, and then how many people want a cast iron muffin pan? I don't know who made it, but this thing weighs a ton. Okay, and it works beautifully. And of course, you have to preheat this, and you oil it, and then you put your muffin mix in there, or your batter, whatever it is you're going to be making in there. It releases like a dream, easier than a regular cupcake pan that I have. I mean, unless you use cups, you know. But the muffins in this thing that I've cooked in it, I think I've cooked in it about 4 times, and they've always released really easily. With $5, estate sale, no maker. It's got the nice little well over here. I've cooked on this bad boy, of course, in the summers. I'm going to take this camp cooking again, so we're going to see some of this bad boy get back in action. Scotty, when I first bought this was a rusty mess, and I just didn't have time to refinish it, and Scotty snagged this out of my garage and refinished it for me. Alright, that by far is my favorite piece of cast iron, period. That's my Lodge cast iron hibachi. This thing is a wonderful cooker. I've roasted corn on this, of course cooked hamburgers on this, cooked chicken on this, cooked steaks on this. I've cooked just about anything you can grill on a hibachi I've cooked on this. And we like to use it to roast corn when we go to the mountains as well. 5 pieces. You get your top grill, your door, your other grill, and then down here you've got a draft door so that you can control the airflow into the firebox here. It's a great cooker for cooking high temperature, grilling very quickly. It sears meats like nobody's business, even when it's at low heat. So it took me a while to learn how to cook on this thing, but once you learn how to cook on it, it cooks beautifully. It makes incredibly well done rare steaks, like a perfect rare steak and a perfect burger, period. Weakness, hot dogs roll right off that bad boy. You have no idea how many hot dogs I picked up off the ground. But got this thing for a steal. It was on clearance at my local Walmart one day. I've had this for probably about, I don't know, 6-7 years at least. And I got that for $40. So there we go. That is the entire collection. Some of my favorite pans, some of my least used pans, some of my most used pans, and some pans that we're going to be experimenting with. I'm probably going to try and cook on all of them throughout the show, just to see. So I'm sure you'll see me screw some stuff up, but we're going to have a good time. I think the next thing up is beef stew. So hope you enjoyed the video.